Everybody. Super excited to be starting the 2022 art exhibition. Just make sure we're here. Well, actually, we're here a minute late. Sorry about that. Let me know in the chat for those of you who are here. Just make sure that that's working.
So
Um,
we're streaming to YouTube and Facebook right now. There's no one in Zoom though.
oh, okay. Okay, great. Okay. Um, Okay, so before we kind of get going here, we've got some amazing art to show and we're going to be announcing these winners. But I'm going to bring on Terry. Terry, keep your screen on. Everybody, this is Terry Froelich. She's on my team and one of the main creators of the exhibition and has been tracking this down, getting all your entries together, working with Jack, our juror, on this. And so I just wanted to catch you up on this process. And I don't know, just kind of one of the things about this exhibition that we are trying to do, that we're trying to kind of do is it's an exhibition. Yes, it's an amazing opportunity and all these things, but it's also this huge learning thing for artists. And that's why we do it. So we're learning. Every time I do this, I learn stuff. It's been really interesting to be on the back end of these exhibitions because I'm always on the front end where I'm submitting things and you never hear from anybody. You know, you get in or you don't. And so that's a little bit of why we do this call today, to share with all the collectors and all the artists just what's going on and how this whole process works. And I just think it's really interesting, and it's helpful especially for the artists to see how these shows are put together and why things get chosen. And it's different every time. But so Terry, how did this show go compared to last year? I know it was bigger, first of all, I know that.
Yeah, it was much bigger. I think every one is just different. Like, even if it's bigger, it's just different. And we've been doing it now for 4 years. So if you compare it like all 4 years, it just changes every year. And every time you think, oh, that's how this all works, the following year, it's a little bit different because the juror is different. And I think everybody, including myself, brings my own bias to art, what I like and what I don't like. And I think that that's what I always learn is that, I have to just stay open to accepting other styles of art that might not be, what I particularly like. And I think that that's what I learn every time when I see what's chosen. And every time I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, wow, what a collection. This is fantastic. So I think it's just from my point of view, just learning that everybody has a unique voice. And there are so many unique voices out there because we're all different. And then I always feel so bad for the jurors whose eyes bleed. Hope I got that quote right. And they're going through a lot of art, and I think it's really challenging, and it's very difficult. And then when you see what they pick, it's so exciting because it's just done in such a professional manner. And there are reasons things resonate with people and reasons certain things don't. And it just is always dependent on so many factors. So that's kind of my takeaway.
Yeah. I'm always surprised too, how, because it's a different juror, how unique the show is. Like, if I chose these, it'd be a certain look. And if you chose them, it'd be a certain look, but it's really distinct. And I love it. I love the selections. And that's where I'm just kind of amazed when I look at this show is, I think, one of the strongest we've had this whole exhibition. And we'll be sharing, we'll show the whole thing today after we announce the award winners. But it's just an amazing process to watch and to see what somebody else considers to be kind of like really, really strong. And it opens my eyes about my own work and about what's possible. And so the whole thing's kind of a stretch, and I think that's sort of the main idea here. And so it was 4,500 entries, right? So this was our biggest one.
Pieces of art.
Yeah, so, individual. Yeah, right.
We estimate, because some people entered one piece, some people entered 3, some 2. So we didn't count exactly, but it's about that amount. Yeah.
Yeah. And the total show, 80.
88 artists selected.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's
for the show.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Oh, excuse me,
Um,
89. Sorry, my bad. 89.
okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to, let me just tell you a little bit about our juror, Jack Fischer. He's a gallery owner in San Francisco, and I've known of his gallery years ago, I mean, it must have been like 15 years ago. I have some friends who were illustrators, Ward Shoemaker and Vivian Flesher, and they were always making this amazing work on the side, really pushed work. And I was kind of involved in the same thing. And I was so impressed that Jack took their work on. And when you look at Jack's gallery and you look at the artists he represents, it's just a really powerful showing. It's all so unique. They're all so different, all so complementary. And that's just, it's just more than most galleries. You know, it's like he's totally choosing work based on his own criteria, what he loves. And it's so broad. I mean, there's sculpture in there, there's all kinds of things, but there's just this similar kind of strength to all of it. And I would recommend going to the website, to this gallery website. And if you're in San Francisco, go to the gallery, but especially the website. And you can just kind of see his aesthetic and his selectivity. It's mirrored in this show, but it's also shown by the artists he represents. And it's just, it's really broad, it's really pushed, it's really wide. And I just think that's, a powerful difference between his gallery. And that's why I was so excited when he said yes. I have this dream list of people I want to do this show. I've actually met Jack before. I don't think he knew, but, just to send this out and ask for this favor. This is a huge project to look at all this art and do this. And so I just want to, right here, right now, just say thank you. This is a super powerful, amazing body of work. This show's probably our best. And it has everything to do with Jack. So Jack, let me turn your camera on if you can. Okay, great. And you can unmute. There we go.
Okay. Thank you for that introduction. Those two, by the way, are some of my favorite artists. Ward Shoemaker. I didn't realize that you knew Ward and Vivian. Anyway, thank you. It really was an honor to have been chosen to do this. As much as my eyes may have bled, yes, it was a lot of work to go through. But, it really, I hope, exemplifies in a way my vision and the vision that I've had for the gallery for all of these years, which I'm afraid belies a certain eclecticism in my taste. Just a quick aside, when I graduated college with a degree in sculpture and photography, I went to a gallery because I had an entree to the gallery, and the guy looked at the work and he said, what is this? You're all over the map.
Interesting.
So I became a cab driver and a carpenter.
Seriously?
True story.
Wow.
True story. Eventually wound up back in the art world, but yeah.
You mentioned something. I think it's in part of what you wrote about this this process of choosing work that obviously people had gone through art school and some hadn't, and some you're just really determined to view and judge the work based on its own merit. Totally. I mean, that's sort of maybe that's just speaks to the broadness of what of how you select, but. Was there, I've never heard a gallerist sort of say, well, you talked about pairing someone who had no training and who was just self-taught, and others who had, I just thought that was interesting, who had gone to art school or had formal training. Do you look at?
That was the reason why I started the gallery in the very first place. I started the gallery to show the work of so-called outsiders, which included self-taught people as well as people who worked in centers for adults with disabilities, untrained. And I wanted to show that work alongside the work of people like Ward Shoemaker, people that had gone to school, that whose effort completely had to do with wanting to be in a gallery and do that kind of work, whereas the other work, if you will, outsider, did the work in a, well, actually, now that I think of it, both artists, both the outsider and the insider, are basically obsessed with making art, with making work. One artist is concerned about getting into a gallery. The other artist could, most part, care less. It's more about the work.
Ah, okay.
But, you know, speaking about Ward Shoemaker, he's one of the hardest working guys in the world that I know in terms of art. Not rest.
Yes.
And then people from a Center for Adults with Disabilities, like Creativity Explored, they're working all the time without the hubris, if you will, sometimes of, I'm going to make a masterpiece. I'm going to have it shown in some gallery. So I wanted to expose and exhibit both ways of dealing with art.
Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting lens. And I see how your experiences coming into this and, you know, a gallery looking at all your work and judging it. I mean, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing. I'm speaking personally, but I know so many of the artists listening that to put your work in a place where someone is actually going to pass judgment on it. And I know, you know, you have selected a tiny fraction of the people that entered this and, you know, spent the time to put all their things together and they put it in. And, you know, can you speak to just, you know, how we as artists or, you know, as the creatives to like do this process, but be able to keep doing it? You know, maybe you didn't get in this show, but how you can kind of think about it to keep going, to keep putting your work in front of jurors and to create opportunities for yourself. I mean, this is one of the primary ways that these artists, you know, they wanted to show their work to you, you know. How do you think about it? Or can you offer any, especially for those who didn't get included?
I think one of the, from my own personal point of view, when I first started the gallery, I reached a point where I had no choice any longer. It was, I'm going to do this. There was no choice otherwise. You know, there was just that one venue was open to me. It's disappointing to not get chosen. It's disappointing to not, to keep doing it over and over and over again. But at the same time, that, as I wrote in my statement, that is part of the process. That is the most important part of it, is that with each piece, there's little windows open every time with each new piece that will help the next piece. You're never finished. You're never finished. And
yeah.
And I think that is, you know, I know artists, I know, you know, again, Ward, he's never done, he's never satisfied. I know artists who paint over their paintings, sometimes for lack of funds, because they can't afford, you know, another canvas.
Right.
But, you know, it's better than becoming a lawyer. It's, you know, it's this, what I do fills me in an amazing way that nothing else that I've ever done fills me. And it's the same thing with artists that I know that keep working. It's, you know, it's like eating. It's like water and air.
Yeah.
And if you have to keep doing it. Being, you know, and I know personally being rejected is, as I mentioned earlier.
You know, I here's something that I've thought a lot about. Whether you get into the thing or you don't get into the thing, like, okay, yes, you get in and it's really exciting and, you pat yourself on the back, but you don't want to get too attached to that idea, because guess what? If you're not the juror next time and, next year, and you don't get in, it's like neither one is, they can both be hard. I mean, it's always better to be selected, but I just think staying focused, like you're saying, on the process of what you're doing and what you're making and the thrust of it and how that fills you. And yeah, there's this sideshow going on. Sometimes you get in, sometimes the juror likes this kind of work, sometimes they don't, sometimes, so that's how I kind of think about it. It's a necessary, but it's almost like a sideshow to the main thing you're doing, which is finding your way with your art. And this hopefully can help you and give you information. But, I think you're absolutely right. I think it's just, this is the process. This is what part of the process.
Is about finding your way.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, listen, I think what I'm going to do now is the way we're going to do this call, you guys. Well, let me just say one thing. We have sent out an art PDF actually this weekend, and we are starting to promote this show. We're going to be heavily promoting this show coming up on social. There are prices on this art in all of this show. So for those of you who have gotten that PDF, or when you look at this website, so that is not something that we're involved in. There's contact for all these artists. So I just wanted to kind of mention that, but we're going to be starting right now, going through the awards of this. This is all kind of news to everybody, but we're going to be starting with the honorable mentions, and then we're going to go through third, second, and first place, kind of in that order. Terry, did I get that right? Yeah.
Yes, you got that right.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right. So let me.
And there, you have the slideshow, right?
Yeah. Let me share my screen here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And we're gonna turn. Oh, let me just get this going better, a little better here. Okay.
You got it.
All right. You guys can see that? Okay. Okay.
Looks great.
I just wanted to show you this, you guys. So just even this screenshot of Jack's gallery. I mean, look at that. Look at the range. Look at the breadth. And this is just for those artists out there who are maybe coming in new. This is what you want to look for in a gallery, when this is the kind of openness and the curiosity, and just like, it's all really strong work, but look at the range, so this is kind of what I was talking about. But when you see all of his artists, it really showcases that. And you can see Vivian's work down in the bottom there. It's kind of cool. Okay. So I will just read this because I think it's important. Approximately 20 years ago, I decided that I wanted to open, this is Jack's statement, and this will be on our website and everything. I decided that I wanted to open a gallery that showed both so-called outsider artists alongside the insider artists, the former being artists with some disability that would keep them from the usual art school route, insiders being art school graduates. My favorite exhibitions are when I can pair up an outsider with an insider in a 2 or 3 person show without making a distinction. My hope is that none is needed and the work speaks for itself. I've been very lucky that I've been able to work with nonprofit centers that provide a safe environment and materials to these members of our community, centers such as Creativity Explored, NIAD, Creative Growth, and other centers in other parts of the globe. I've also been fortunate to work with a varied group of artists in various stages of their careers. In short, he's on the hunt for amazing work that's different. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It doesn't matter, the education. It's all about the work, which I just love. So I'm trying to move my screen here.
Just got to hit the arrow key.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay. So Terry, we have Tracy here, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is our first honorable mention. You guys, we're kind of waiting on a few people coming in late. So I'm just making sure that everyone's here. So Tracy, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Wow.
And this is a huge painting, first of all. I saw this the other day and I was like, whoa, this is giant. Give us a little quick, tell us what this is and what you're thinking a little bit.
Well, so love to do things that are, first of all, it's a reconstruction. So it's not collage, but I paint my own hand painted papers, and then I construct the work kind of fitting the papers together like a puzzle. So it's all individual sort of little pieces of paper that I have painted. I do a ground underneath, a neon ground, usually, generally. And I like to do work that is sort of something that about something I don't understand. I like, the metaphysical, the mysterious, anything that sort of confounds me in life. And intrigues me. And this is something that is very intriguing, the mycorrhizal network. I'm fascinated with nature, and this is an underground network of communication, and where we say the language of the trees. It stems from mushrooms, the fungi, and the tributaries go out through the forest, connect all the trees, connect all the vegetation, and like help each other. It's like a family of help. And so it's self-sustaining, and I think that's great. And I think it's wonderful that nature can sort of refurbish itself and regenerate itself. And we really don't have to interact, and we don't have to intervene. And climate change, it's all sort of wrapped up in what I'm concerned about.
So Jack, you had, what was your kind of initial hit on this, and what stood out for you when you saw this?
Well, it's funny. I didn't really, I just made a note to myself here that at first it was really difficult to understand that it was in fact a collage. Which makes this even more interesting and dynamic a piece. I just wrote also, from trees to paper and back is what you might take a look at this. And I think you mentioned that in a way, it's kind of like this wonderful circle that we're in the throes of, pardon me, but destroying as well. It's one of the things that I really like about this particular piece is something that I've always enjoyed, is where it's difficult it's when it straddles that line between abstract and narrative. And I find that there are many, many places within this piece that I find myself not knowing. And I may repeat myself throughout the day about work, and it's, to me, one of the best parts of a piece is the not knowing, is that I have to work at getting it. The work doesn't do it all for me. It doesn't tell me this is what I'm about. It's I become engaged and curious.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's great.
Really nice to hear.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. Yeah. Beautiful.
Can I jump in for 1 second and say
real quick. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I just wanted to really thank you, Nicholas and Jack and Terry. I really think this is a fantastic opportunity. The things you're providing here for artists, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. The programs and everything, the workshops.
Well, thanks.
And I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and congratulations, by the way. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Really, really beautiful. And you nailed it, Jack. That mystery part, when you look at this, yeah. Wow. Okay. All right. So let me get the next one up here. Okay. So Terry, we have Jay here.
Jay's here. Yeah, everyone's
awesome.
here.
Oh, great. Okay. Jay, if you want to turn your camera on.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So this is called A Brief History of Plastic. Jay, I can't wait to hear about this.
See, Jay?
Are you able to hear me yet? Or?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, there. But you hear me or?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you not hear us? Maybe he can't hear us.
He just muted himself.
You
Jay,
mute, yeah, you muted. Yeah.
just hit your microphone, Jay. There you go.
Okay, sorry.
You're all good. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me at this point? Or?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, yeah. About well, several years ago, probably around 2015, I found that I had kind of stumbled into a kind of history painting. It happened kind of, I've always researched my subject matter, but more and more I began to research events, which naturally sort of led me to come up with this. Like I said, I think it's a species of history painting. The idea here, of course, is we all know the issues surrounding single-use plastics. And I felt that it was, something I wanted to look at. And of course, I wanted to do more than just create a visual thing, but something that involved some research into its history. So I began to look into it, and it's, again, I'm trying to remember all the names I have here, but the portraits starting counterclockwise are some of the people that really invented this back in the 19th century. Alexander Park, for instance, who actually developed the first use of plastic. He invented the use of cellulose.
Wow.
And oddly, that kind of plastic would have been okay because it was made from cellulose. It would have been recyclable. I mean, at that time, I'm sure they weren't really thinking about that. And of course, going clockwise. And by the way, if I go on and on too long with this, let me know.
Actually, Jay, let us just hear from Jack real quick.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So, go ahead, Jack. What was your hit when you saw this? What were you responding to?
Well, it was this really fantastic lesson, history lesson. One of the things that I saw at the very beginning of it is that I thought I saw prescription pills in the center as well, which makes this even more horrifying because we are being fed some synthetic drugs that are we have a lot of plastic in them. We eat and drink, as we now know, fish have an insane amount of tiny little bits of plastic in their system, and we are fast becoming plastic.
So they've already found.
Thank you, Jay, for making it a really kind of horrifying image of where we are at this time. But I think that was what I responded to. Here are these four guys that one may think, oh my God, they're like they look like nice benign people, but this is what they have brought. So that was one of the reasons why I chose this work, because we're in the throes of this incredible sort of cycle where I don't know where it's going to end, given the amount of plastic that we're taking in all the time. The other thing that I responded to is basically the skill level is great. The colors,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, beautiful, Jay. Listen, just in the interest of time, we're gonna move on. But I just, congratulations, Jay, and really beautiful work. And I totally agree with everything Jack said.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, our next honorable mention is Marjorie Thompson, and this is a 48 by 24 inch Russell is the name of this. So Marjorie, real quick, give us a what you were thinking about this work.
Well, as this is part of an ongoing tree series that I've been working on for about a year and a half, and I'm trying to bring in a real express a sense of place, but not being too specific, and leaving it more open to the viewer to have a dialogue and access, you know, memories of maybe that's familiar to them and is somewhere that they loved being. And I'm just very intrigued by nature and the structure and the texture and the layers, and also just the challenge of trying, I think Jack mentioned this, trying to straddle that line between abstraction and work. And for me,
Perfectly done on this piece.
I'm sorry.
What was that, Jack?
I just said it's, you know, perfectly done in this piece, that fine line between abstraction and narrative, and not giving it all away. So
great, thank you. And thank you very much. I'm just thrilled to be here. This is very exciting to be part of this. And thank you to everyone at Art2Life for putting this together for us, because this is just a really nice way of, you know, getting our work out there. And yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I agree. It just straddles this, it's paint first, and then it's this landscape, and it's just, God, it's such a tour de force. Really strong, really beautiful. Marjorie, congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. Like I said, I'm thrilled. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, coming up next.
So Rebecca's
Rebecca's the one who's not with us today.
Okay.
So we can just mention her piece. And this is a really, Jack, I know why you like this piece. Just quickly, just if you could say just a few words about it. You just.
Oh, I think that if I remember correctly, the incredible courage that this piece is not at our prettiest times, not at our prettiest moment, and the courage to tell all of us, this is where I am right now. This is, and it's not a pretty picture. And you know, that's one of the things art should also make us cringe a little bit, and it should attack us in a way a little bit. It should make us kind of like, well, wow, you know, just be, attack is perhaps the wrong word, but it should be confrontational, and this is certainly that. And you know, many kudos to Rebecca for this piece.
Yeah, wow. Okay, thanks for that. Okay, so let's jump to third place. Jose Delhart Gonzalez. Can you want to turn your camera on?
Is it on? I think I turned it on. Thank you so much.
Okay. Can you guys see him okay?
Yep, we can see him.
Okay, great. So tell us about this piece. Well, first of all, what's it on? I know it's recycled pizza boxes. Just give us a little.
Yeah, I love to work on cardboard, and I try to just use, ever since I was a teenager, I try to use, you know, whatever I have available. And I fell in love with cardboard. It's just easy to work with. It works well with acrylic paint, and I love it. So it is on cardboard, yeah.
Wow. And is there a mythology here? What is the thinking in this, or can you just shed a little bit of light on that?
Sure. So El Santo y el OVNI, which is the saint and the UFO, is just a work that I started recently, and I've been working through the connection that I make in my art, and the connection is with my ancestors and the things that I kind of have a longing for. You know, I'm far away from my family, and a lot of the things that are depicted in my work are based on the things that connect me to my family, spiritualism and things that are unknown. I love angels. That's one of the things that I try to, always kind of connect with, and saints. And so it has a lot of, meaning in terms of what I'm trying to connect with, with the things that are no longer attached to me on the physical realm. I'm trying to connect with my family in a lot of different ways through my work. So it's a meditation on that.
Wow. So Jack, what struck you here?
Well, first off, one of the things that that it makes me think about is Mexico. You would paint these little scenes of how my life was saved by an angel or by a saint, and it reminiscent of a milagro to me. The fact that you did it on a recycled pizza box, it's like the humblest of materials, given this shine, this glow, this beautiful, magical place that you have here. Anyway, I think it's absolutely. I love that. I love the balance of, again, the humblest of materials with this incredible. There's a I'm hard to find words for the. It struck me in a very deep heart place. What you were doing. What is El OVNI?
El OVNI is the UFO. It's
the UFO.
Yeah. So it's kind of, for me, I like the UFO because my grandfather used to tell me a lot of weird stories about him after work, getting a little bit drunk after, tending to the crops. After tending to the crops, he'd drink a little bit and he'd say that he saw UFOs and stuff like that. So it's a reminder of all that I'm trying to connect. I'm really honored by this. Thank you.
Where was that?
In Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I'm really honored by it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love the work.
Thank you.
Yeah. Jose, listen, congratulations on being chosen for third place. It's really, really beautiful. Okay, I'm going to try and go to the next one here. Okay. Okay, so second place is Heidi Bruckner. This also is a large piece, 78 by 48 inches, oil and yarn on recycled mailers. Is Heidi?
Yep, she's on.
Okay.
She's there.
Okay, Heidi, congratulations. Can you give us a little, you got to fill us in on this recycled mailers. It's so awesome.
Well, thank you. I'm just delighted to be here, and thank you so much to everybody involved, and thank you, Jack. So I started a portrait series about the time that we had to all go out into lockdown because of the pandemic. I think it was because I was missing people and being with people. So that's what this series is from. This is a friend of mine. But the other thing that was happening was a lot of mail ordering of goods and things. And so these kinds of envelopes kept piling up, and things like, at least in this area, you couldn't bring your paper bags back into the grocery stores. You had to get new bags every time. So I just have all this stuff piling up. We usually try to reuse these bags, but when you start to get hundreds of thousands of them, what do you do? So a lot of trial and error. I experimented with cutting these up and then adhering them together to make a surface. I'm also very interested in recycling and environmental issues. So this is a very textural, kind of bumpy surface, and it's also layered. So if you see the piece in person, you'll see, how the pieces are stuck together, etc. And so there's sort of this dotty texture that comes out of the surface of the substrate here. So a lot of the recent work has been on this material.
Wow. So Jack, wow. It's amazing.
It's what's wonderful about this piece. Well, there's a number of things that it makes me think about. One is, this is such a happy play piece for me. Again, recycled mailers. You've gone to, again, that most humble of material, cardboard, stuff that gets thrown away. It's interesting how even from that first piece that we were looking at, from the trees, the mitochondria, that eventually becomes really humble material, again, recycled mailers, cardboard. I love it.
is
It's
just
incredibly
really
strong.
strong.
It's a wonderful, wonderful. There's something, you know, there's something about it that it's like it's folk art. It's not folk art. It's, I don't know. I loved it. I think it deserves second place. And damn, the colors. You know, I love what you did with the acrylic. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm very appreciative of the notice and of all the work that's gone into this show. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Congratulations, Heidi, on second place. It's really great. It's great to hear you talk about it and be able to like look at that. I just so want to see this
Yeah.
bigger, you know.
Hey, Heidi, that piece behind you where you're sitting, is that also done on the same kind of material?
Yes, it is. So you're seeing, how do I get out of the way? You're seeing a lot more of the bag showing through. Like
Did you enter that as well?
No, this one's a work in progress, but
Okay.
these blue stripes are like the Amazon color that you're seeing through.
Okay.
So it's, yeah, I'm still figuring that one out.
Awesome. Again, congratulations. And now for our first place winner, hope to gosh, I can do this. Come on.
Just gotta click the.
There we go. Okay. Rick Ambrose, this amazing piece. Oh my God. Rick, can you turn your camera on?
Yes. Can you see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay,
He's here.
great. There you are. All right, good. Sorry, it's more my camera that's the problem. Rick, so congratulations
Thank
on
you.
this first place.
It's a great honor.
It's an amazing, amazing piece. And can you just talk us through this a little bit?
Yes, the title of this is The State of Perpetual Indulgence. This is an event that I attended a few years ago that I take a lot of photographs when I go out, and I start to piece images together to create sort of a tableau of what's going on. And so this is an organization that celebrates the men would dress up as ecclesiastical figures, and on Easter they would have a performance at Dolores Park in San Francisco, and they would have an egg hunt for the kids. So this is a combination of images I pieced together, and this is all graphite on paper. And some of the individual characters, I was very intrigued in juxtaposing different images. Some of it is reminiscent of some of the classic images in Renaissance, but they are projected in contemporary context. And of course, this is sort of a parody on religion. The facade of the church in the background is not actually Dolores Park Mission, it's of another location. But you'll notice that there's a young woman in the tutu playing with a hula hoop and in front of the doors. So, and you'll see another gentleman shirtless who's sort of genuflecting in front of a high priestess. Some of these are, things that I play with as combination of ideas and contexts, combining the mundane with the exotic, the macro and micro. I mean, there's a lot of information in the drawings, and then you look back and you see this grand scheme, this elongated drawing that's reminiscent of some of the Chinese scroll paintings. That's really, I was influenced. And so I do a lot of work on that format, whether it's horizontal or vertical. So this was done just, I think, about 2020. And I was just fascinated by the event itself and the people that were at the park.
And Rick, just real quick, why you, it's graphite, it's not color. Can you speak to that?
That's correct.
Yeah, or is all your work graphite? Or
Yes, that's true. I received my MFA degree a while back, and it was one of the first schools that offer an MFA degree in drawing. And I was always fascinated with graphite and with black and white images. I think there's a sense of timelessness when you don't have to deal with color, but there's a sort of a historical context. And it also reminds me of me growing up in a small industrial town where Bedouin was overlooking the slate roofs of the churches and the factories and the smoke and all that. That everything to me was black and white, even though, so I feel comfortable working in this sort of colorless world, but this really is the way I manipulate the medium is provides that colorful context.
So Jack, what,
I don't know what to say. He just said it all at the very beginning. You know, the tableau, this piece blew my mind. It was like one of those that I didn't have to think twice. Your work is amazing,
Thank you,
Rick. Yes, and I really like what you said about from the micro to the macro, but also from the sacred to the profane.
right.
Those two aspects is what's really wonderful about that piece, from the sacred to the profane, from the small bottles of whatever it is down there to the shoes and the grandeur of the church and the grandeur of these. You know, I've seen the perpetual indulgence processions, which are reminiscent of my having grown up as a Catholic and watched processions in church. Anyway, congratulations. It's a beautiful piece. It's a piece I would hang in my house if I had room.
Oh, great. It's about 8 feet long.
I know.
Wow. Well, yeah. Congratulations, Rick. I love it. And I love the stories, all these stories in it, and you just get lost in it. And wow, fantastic. Well, Jack, we're here at, I'm so glad that you were able to stick through, and, I know you had a busy schedule today, but is there any closing thoughts? And we'll let you go. I know you've got some things going on, but just overall on the show, or it's interesting, right? How these winners are all kind of connected in a way, and the materials they're using. That was something that I didn't catch till today. What's interesting to me is that only after, in retrospect, do I see that there was a thread to all of the pieces, which at the moment, as I was choosing the work, I did not have a clue. Yep.
I did not have a clue. There was something I wanted to ask you all, which, do you think that the work changes according to who the juror is?
When you say, you mean, well, absolutely. I mean, do you mean, does the exhibition, it's going to be different depending on the juror? Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what I'm asking.
Yes, absolutely. And it was not something, Jack, that I was, as a person, as an artist who just enters shows, that was not really apparent to me. I mean, I would sort of look at the shows, but watching them come together from, Terry's perspective and my perspective, and seeing how each of these shows, and I think it's helpful when you go to the Art2Life website and go back to 2019 and look at that show, and look at last year's show, and look at this year. It is so personal, Jack, and your aesthetic. And I mean, and I'll share, when you guys go and you see this all 89 pieces, it feels like your gallery, Jack, when you look at it, to me,
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Predictable. What can I tell you?
We can't help being ourselves, but I recently did this too, Jack. I went through my show that I volunteered to do it, and it was half as long as yours. It was so exhausting, but they were, I got a lot of feedback, and people were saying, wow, this was such a different show. And I realized, like, wow, if any of us curated a show, if anyone is, just like we choose materials and we choose colors, we have an aesthetic, we have a point of view, and it comes out whether we're making art or whether we're creating an art show or doing an art gallery. And so, yes, absolutely, this show is absolutely unique and different, and it's yours.
Well,
and that's what's so cool about it. It's everything. It's the juror. This is a celebration of.
Thank you, really. Thank you. It was an honor to do this. A lot of fun and very instructive in a number of ways. So
awesome. Well,
thank you.
again, thank you. So Jack's going to hop off. Jack, I super appreciate it. You being here. I do want to share you guys the PDF.
Thanks, Jack.
I gotta,
Yeah, thanks, Jack. And in a minute, but Terry, we have now turned on the exhibition, right? So now
Yes, we've turned it
everyone
on.
can know it should work if you go to art2life.com and click on exhibitions. But there's a sub tab, right? It's art2life.com.
It's art2life.com, and then it's the tab that says more.
Do you want to share your screen just so people can
sure.
get it?
Let me pull that up really quick. Okay, so let me share. Okay, hopefully this will share. So if you go to art2life.com and you select more right here and you go to exhibition 2022, are you still seeing it?
Yep.
We can see.
Okay, so you just go down and here are the winners. Oh, it's not filling in very fast.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Terry, while you're here, if you want to show just the whole show, why don't we just kind of do it? It's such a beautiful show.
Sure. Absolutely. So again, you go to more and you go, and if you want to see the past exhibitions, they're all, all listed here as well. So talking about like different styles. So I like what Jack was asking about, like different styles and different jurors, and you can take a look at the shows from before. And I definitely think, like, you know, people have a bias about things that they like and materials and subject matter and color. And I was at Jack's gallery. And you're right. I mean, this show looks like his gallery because he's got a show up, but then he's got all this work in the back that, you know, he allows you to go back there and see. And it's everything from lucite to fabric to painted and stitched canvas to, I mean, there's just countless things back there that are very different and very, very unique. And, you know, this is what you read earlier in the presentation. And then there's a little bit that he wrote about the exhibition as well, which I would say for everybody to take a look at that because it's very insightful. And when you scroll down, you'll see the awards, and you will also see on the first, second, and third place winners, he actually picked more than one piece. So when you click on artist statement, that little, the arrow next to artist statement, and you go scroll down, you will see another piece.
Right.
And if you click on that piece, it gets bigger. So, and there's the artist. So you have the artist contact information and everything else. So that's another piece by Rick.
That's new.
Yeah.
I mean, Jack is, you guys, he is the most eclectic juror we've had. I mean, I was really serious. I mean, and that's what's cool about this show. I mean, he is really goes out into different areas and loves and appreciates so many different kinds of work.
Yeah, and if you read about the show, he wants to be moved. He wants to ask, you know, he wants to have questions. He wants to just feel it. So I think that's why he picked the show he picked, because there was feeling and everything that he picked for himself. You know, we might not get the same feeling, but this was his show. So, and here are all the winners and the honorable mentions.
And see how different the work is. And this is what I love. You know, it's not a person who's like, well, they just like bright colors. This is really diverse work. You know, it's abstract, it's representational, it's hard to look at, it's beautiful. You know, it's not stuck in one genre, and that's amazing. And then so here, as we come down here, go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, and so if you keep scrolling, all the winners are at the top, and then this is our exhibition down here. And so what's interesting is when you highlight one of them, like just highlight one piece, you'll see the name drops down. But if you click on it and it goes larger, then you'll get the information for the contact information for the artist, and you'll see the price, and that little globe is like their website down in the bottom right hand corner, so you can kind of explore the artist. You can see their contact information if you're interested. Yeah, that's their website, or their Instagram, their social media will be down there as well. So, and if a piece is sold, you'll see a little red dot. We'll be putting red dots on pieces that sell. And I think last year, I think we sold 11. We didn't sell them. The artist sold them 11 pieces through the show, and the artists get to keep 100% of the proceeds of the sale. And the sale goes directly through the buyer and the artist. Art2Life doesn't have anything to do with that. So we recommend reaching out to an artist if you see a piece. Some pieces went really quickly last year. So there's just, and all the information you need, size and everything is on there. But if you need more information, you can contact the artist. So, and then we only put the information that they gave us. So if you can't find somebody through the information here and you really want to reach out to them, just send us an email at info@art2life.com if you have any issues, and we can help you through that. But you can just see the diversity of his show.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really
it's really
something.
great. Oh, this one already sold. Wow.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a diverse, beautiful, all strong. You know, that's the only. It's pretty amazing. I don't know what the percentage is of, you know, out of 4,500 entries, 80, but it's like 0.004 or something. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
very
a beautiful.
nice. And everything from collage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just beautiful. I mean, it goes from like such, you know, linear to very, you know, abstract, organic to, I mean, it's just a little bit of everything. And I love that. That he was just so open in this jurying process.
Right. That he appreciates this, you know, colors and this kind of work, you know, and then this kind of work, and then this kind of work, you know. I mean, it really pushes me, you know, like, wow, I need to be like really open my eyes to different kinds of work, and it's so cool.
Yeah. And I just wanted to mention, we have this color tips PDF. I'm sorry. We have this art collectors PDF. And if you guys want to get on the mailing list for that, we send it out every year, and we send it out a day in advance of the show. So anybody who's an art collector, some interior designers, people who buy art for other people, art consultants, if you want to see the show prior to the release of it online, you can sign up for the art collector PDF, and you get it the day before. And I think the team is possibly putting some links in the feeds of the social media. So if you click on that, you can sign up to get on the list for next year. And we can send you the PDF this year as well.
It's also in the description for the call as well, the link.
Oh, say that again, Ferris.
The link for the Art Collector PDF, it's also in the description of the call. So people can just click it right at the top.
Oh.
Watching this call, there's a link, and you just click on it.
And I'll share that with you guys. I'll show you what this looks like here. This is the
would you like me to do that?
I got it. Here it is. This is the Art Collector PDF. Can you see this okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, looks great.
Yeah. So it's
if you could just click that thing where it says star files, just hit that little X up to the left. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Get rid of that. Perfect.
Okay. Let me just, so, you know, it's just a beautiful kind of collectible, but this is how we promote this work. We get this in the hands of buyers and other galleries, and so this is, you know, this is really the tool we use to promote this show. So yeah, and again, this is available for anyone. If you want this, put your we're going to post this in the chat.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Terry and the rest of the team, thanks so much for pulling this off. Again, this is always it's super challenging getting all the artists in one spot for the same 40 minutes. And we pulled it off. It was close, but it was just great to be able to to hear from each of these artists. There's such a better feeling of the work just hearing a few minutes from the artist. You know, I love that part of this. So is there any other thoughts, Terry, before we go?
No, I think you said it. Just thanking our team, because this is a huge team effort.
Yes.
This is a huge very, very big project to pull off, and it takes a big team to do it. And I just want to shout out to all of them and say thank you, because it's a lot of work, but we're really proud of what we've done. And I hope everybody enjoys it and gets a lot out of it.
And for those artists in the show, please let us know when your piece sells. We like to post that. That's important for us. That means that we're getting that's one of the goals, is to get the work out there, and we gauge it by sales and any comments and feedback that, you know, what we can do better, or what's happened as a result of this show. It really fires us up, and we put that all in a big folder for next year. So when we do this, we can adjust things and make it even better.
Yes.
Okay. All right, everyone.
And thank you all
Again,
artists for
thank you
joining us
so much.
on the call today.
Absolutely.